Leicester Sports Channel with the Championship. It's Championship Week 34 predictions. Let's get straight into it with Friday's Bristol City versus Borough. Bristol City are doing a little bit better of late. Draw, win, draw, lose, win, draw. Good win against Stoke City. 2-0 and a solid draw against Cardiff City, who can be a little bit awkward to play at home. They're really good at home, so coming away with the draw was quite good. Bristol City, a little bit up and down, but actually not doing too bad against a Borough side that just seem to have lost it for quite a while, haven't they? They don't seem to be doing very well at all. Bristol City now in 8th and Borough in 11th. Can we see a turnaround for the mighty Borough? Well, let's have a look what you think. You're thinking 2-1 to Bristol City, 2-1, 2-0, 1-1. Not many of you thinking that giving Borough a chance here. Borough, of course, lose, win, lose, 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 lose. Okay, Sunderland and Sheffield United were in the ones that they've lost, but also they lost against Portsmouth, won against West Brom at home though, so not the Drawthorns. I still think that at the minute Bristol City do have the edge. Can Borough turn it around? I think Borough can turn it around if they get everybody fit, everybody on the pitch. They certainly can play well. But in this case, what are you saying? 2-1, 2-1, 2-0, 2-1-1. Yeah, I'm going to go with a majority. I'm going to go with Bristol City 2, Borough 1. And we're going to go to Burnley versus Sheffield Wednesday. Now, obviously, Sheffield Wednesday going to Burnley. Burnley are really... They're mainly playing really solid, good football, really good defence, absolutely excellent defence. But occasionally, just occasionally, they're held to a 0-0 draw. Draw, win, 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 draw. All three draws were 0-0. Leeds, Portsmouth and Preston. So if you can stop them from scoring, you seem to get a 0-0 draw. So I think it's either going to be a Burnley win or a draw, 0-0. What about Sheffield Wednesday, though? Draw, win, draw, lose, win, lose. I can't see Burnley losing this at home as well. Those three draws at home, away. Yeah, let's think. I think that you're probably right. 2-0, 1-0, 1-0, 1-0. You know, I'm going to go with a majority again. Burnley 1, Sheffield Wednesday 0. And I'm usually a little bit critical and go away from you lot occasionally. A bit controversial occasionally, aren't I? So we'll go on to the Saturday games, and we're trying to go quick because I know you lot like to go nice and quick. Derby County versus Millwall. Let's have a look at the positions of these two. Millwall are in 14th on 42. They played really well at the beginning, then they sort of scuppered it a little bit. Derby County 22nd with 29 points, and can they get the new manager bounce? I thought they would do, but they don't seem to have got it. Yeah, I've just looked at what you lot are saying. Derby, lose, draw, lose, not doing very well. Last time out, 4-0 defeat to QPR. They really didn't seem to even turn up for that one. Derby versus Oxford, and I thought Oxford did really well. I thought Oxford might have nicked that one. Millwall, win, lose, draw. Just see to it. I mean, lately they just seem to have lost the edge. Losing 5-1 to Plymouth, obviously wrong team, wrong time, straight after the Liverpool win for Plymouth. Not a good time to be playing them, was it? So we'll probably take away that Plymouth disaster away from home. Plus, they usually score a lot at home anyway. So, what are you saying? 1-0 to Derby, 1-0 to Derby, 1-0 to Millwall, and 0-0. This is going to be difficult. You know, I think that both of these teams can score, but it's not going to be very high scoring. I'm going to go for Derby 1, Millwall 1, and we'll quickly move on to Plymouth versus Cardiff, shall we? So Plymouth versus Cardiff. Obviously, Plymouth rescued a point 1-1 against Luton late on. Cardiff did the same against Bristol City, rescuing it very late on to draw 1-1. Plymouth, draw, win, 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 lose, draw. They have actually been playing better under the new manager, and I did think that this, especially with the Liverpool win and the Millwall win, that might actually really draw this good performance out of them a bit more, but they just seem to have slacked off quite quickly for me. I thought they might have gone at least 2, 3, 4 games with that excitement of the Liverpool game, but didn't quite happen. However, I still think there is a little bit of a sort of difference in class of football since that Liverpool game, even if it's only slight. Cardiff City, draw, win, lose, draw, lose, draw. They just seem to be backing off a little bit. And the Portsmouth game, obviously, they lost to Portsmouth 2-1 on the 11th of February. And I actually thought that they played pretty... It wasn't badly. It was just... they just seemed to be on the pitch playing football. Sort of like an average Saturday game for the mid-table team. Didn't play with any oomph or any determination there. There didn't seem to be anything special about their play. And I'm a little bit worried that they just seem to be getting into this sort of a little bit of a sort of slump at the wrong time, because Cardiff are 20th, only on 32 points, and Derby in 22nd are on 29. Plymouth on 29 as well. It's a chance for Plymouth to go 1 point away from Cardiff. Can they do it? Well, what are you saying? You're saying 3-2 to Plymouth. 2-1 to Plymouth, 1-1, 1-1. I actually think that we could see here a little bit of a resurgence of all that enthusiasm. I don't think it's going to be massively high scoring. I think it's going to be Plymouth 2, Cardiff City 1. And we'll move on to Sunderland versus Hull City. Sunderland versus Hull City, and Sunderland lost. They got pegged back, didn't they? The last minutes by Leeds to lose 2-1, and Hull City got pegged back in the later on after they scored first by Norwich, and Norwich aren't playing that well. So to get pegged back in the second half, I thought that was quite awkward, and I thought that was against the run of play for myself. But it was a game where I think it was quite even. 4 shots on target to Hull, 3 shots on target to Norwich. Although Norwich had 60% of the play, I think that Hull City did more with the ball, and that's what I'm getting from Hull's play. They may not have they may not have the majority of possession, but they do a lot with the ball when they've got it. And this is where I think it's going to be critical against a side like Sunderland, because Sunderland won't let them have the ball. So it's critical that Hull City do the best with the ball when they've got it. And I think they can. Hull City could actually provide a shock draw here, because they're good at doing the most with the ball when they've got it, even if they haven't got it a long time. So bracketed, I would say perhaps a 1-1 here. And but what are you saying? 1-0 to Sunderland, 1-0 to Sunderland, 3-1 to Hull, 2-1 to Hull. And I'm going to go with one. I'm going to go Sunderland 1, Hull 0. But you just watch whether Hull can just nick that one, because they do really good when they got the ball for a very small percentage of the time. So we'll go on to Coventry versus Preston. Coventry obviously won last time out against Sheffield Wednesday. Coventry gained 90 plus 2 minutes winner. But they've been playing really solidly. Win, win, lose, lose, win, win. The 2 defeats were FA Cup, Ipswich 4-1. I thought they might turn up there. I keep saying that, and I was shocked that they didn't really play as good as I thought they could do. Leeds United defeat 2-0 at home. Yeah, it is Leeds United, isn't it? So actually they're playing really good against the majority of that league. And I think, although in the last 6, they've only played one really top team out of the Championship, Leeds United. I think they can actually perform quite well, Coventry, against Preston. Preston North End, strange team. They play really solidly. Their defence is actually really, really solid. Win, lose, draw, win, draw, draw. But look at the goals they've let in. 1, 2 with a defeat against Blackburn, 2-1. 0, 0, 0, 1. Yeah, they're very, very solid at the back. And I think that this Preston team will certainly be causing Coventry a fair bit of a headache here. It's going to be really, really difficult. Look at what you're saying. And it shows that it is difficult. 2-1 to Coventry, 2-0 to Coventry, 2-1 to Preston, 1-1. We've got everything covered there, haven't we? Thank you very much for your help. I think that Coventry just have the edge here. I think that I like that Burnley 0-0 for Preston. It just shows me that they're just able to. The defence of Coventry is not that bad either, although they can let in 1 or 2 more. This could be 1-0 in either direction. I think it will be 1-0 in either direction. I'm going to go with home advantage. I'm going to go the Coventry 1, Preston 0, and we'll quickly move on to the next one, which is Norwich versus Stoke, I believe. Yes, Norwich versus Stoke. Norwich City they've started to turn a corner, I would say. Norwich City have actually started to play a little bit different. They started to play a little bit better, push up a little bit more, and they've started to be a little bit more technical certainly in the last 6 games. So it's Norwich in 12th versus Stoke in 19th, and Norwich City lose, win, draw, lose, draw. The Swansea City 5-1 home win. Weird. Came from nowhere, and they've not really been one for scoring a lot of goals. In the other 5 games in the last 6, it's been 2-0 defeat, 1-0 win, 1-1 draw, 1-0 defeat, and a 1-1 draw. It's been pretty average. And then you've got those 2 wins: Swansea City at home 5-1 and an away win 1-0 at Watford. It's just been a little bit dull for me. They don't seem to really get a really good, consistently high performance. Occasional one like the Swansea, and then that's it. It just seems to be over. Stoke City, though, exactly the same. They can score goals, but then they can also let goals in. Lose, draw, win, draw, lose, win. Their 2 wins in the last 6 have been 2-1 away at Hull, 3-1 last time out at home to Swansea. Their defeats: 2-0 against Bristol City away, and 6 games ago, 3-1 away defeat to Portsmouth. They can win by scoring plenty of goals, but that back line is still a little bit rocky for me. The Cardiff 3-3 draw, for instance, it just shows that they just don't seem to be able to solidify that back end. And I'm sorry, but the goalkeeper we sent you seems to be making a couple of howlers. Norwich versus Stoke is actually quite a difficult one. I think on the whole, it's going to be high scoring. I think that we're going to see one of these teams nick it by 1 goal. I've got a feeling it's going to be something like 3-2, but I'm not quite sure which way round. It could really be either way, couldn't it? It really could. But we know that Norwich don't usually score a lot. What are you saying? 2-0, 2-1, 3-1, 2-1. You know something? I'm going to say that Norwich are going to score a couple of goals here. I'm going to go Norwich 3, Stoke 2, and we'll move on to Portsmouth versus QPR and see what we think of them. So, Portsmouth lose, draw, lose, win. 2 wins on the bounce, 2-1 at home to Cardiff and 2-0 away at Oxford, winning it, putting the nail in the coffin right at the very end there. One around half time, one at the end. They were running that quite well, and I think they needed that second goal. Otherwise, Oxford would have been nibbling at the heels to get that equaliser. QPR win, lose, win, lose, win. 4-0 win last time against Derby. 3 games ago, 2-0, 2-1 win at home to Blackburn. 6 games ago for the one before that, 2-1 win away to Hull. Since then, they've lost against Coventry 1-0, Millwall 2-1, and Sheffield Wednesday 0-2. So it's a side we know they can play really well, don't we? We know they can play a solid championship, mid-table football. However, I think Portsmouth have a desire to make sure that they stay in this league, and actually they're playing really well at home. At home, they are really, really good. I think really the Oxford away win was just a cherry on the cake for them, because they're really relying on this good home form that they've built up. Certainly recently. What are you saying? Ports 1-1, 2-1, 1-1, 2-1. I'm going to go with a majority of it. Oh, well, half of you. I'm going to go for Portsmouth 2, QPR 1. And we go to our next game, which is Swansea versus Blackburn. Now, Swansea City, let's see where the tables are on this one. Less obvious. Blackburn in 5th, having the run of the green for a while, for most of the while actually. Then it's sort of like they were playing exactly the same style of football and class football, but the run of the green sort of like edged away from them, didn't it? Let's see what it is now. Swansea City are in 17th. If you looked at the positions, you'd be thinking Blackburn, absolutely. And you have to think, yeah, they've started getting that run of the green back, haven't they? Swansea City lose, win, lose. They just don't seem to be doing that well. They won against Bristol City. Bristol City on that game, I don't think really turned up. I thought it was rather a dull game. I actually thought that might be 0-0. Blackburn lose, win, win. 2-0 win away at West Brom, 2-0 win at home to Plymouth. They're doing reasonably well. I'm going to back. I would think that Blackburn have the impetus here. They've been doing so well. Their fans are going to be behind them, and I think it's important here that we say I think the fans will be the extra man here. What are you all saying? 0-2, 0-2, 0-1, 0-1. By looking at those scores, you can see Swansea's defence is actually quite good. Yes, it can let in goals, 5-1 against Norwich, but it's usually quite solid. I'm going to go with Swansea 0, Blackburn 2, and move on to West Brom versus Oxford, which is our last game from Saturday. So let's have a look at where their last games. Millwall was the last game for West Brom. Millwall 1, West Brom 1. Millwall scoring both of those goals. And Oxford, last time out, Portsmouth, they lost 2-0. I think they did play reasonably well, and it did look like if Portsmouth didn't get that second goal, they might just be able to push and get a fluke equaliser. But Portsmouth needed to put that one to bed to be able to win it, and they did. West Brom lose, win, lose, draw. What's it going to be? Well, it sounds like a draw, doesn't it? It sounds like a loss or a draw. West Brom have been playing some great football. I thought they played really well against Portsmouth. They really did just enough to win that 5-1. But I don't think it was a 5-1 game. I think it was more like a 2-3-1. That exaggerated the differences between the two teams. They've been playing reasonably well, I think, West Brom, just not getting the result, not getting the run of the green. Oxford have been win, draw, lose, draw, win, lose, draw, lose. not doing very well. I can't see anything other than a West Brom win here. West Brom are in 6th. Oxford are in 16th. And, they're 9 points ahead of the relegation. They're not going to get anywhere near the relegation zone now. 9 points, that's 3 games. And there's only 13 left. So, yeah, they could still be caught, but it would need a really good effort by all those teams below them. And, as much as I think it's possible, it's not very likely, is it? What are you lot saying? You're saying 2-0. It's West Brom at home, remember? 2-0, 3-1, 2-0, 1-0. There's not many goals in Oxford's games. They seem to have really made that back end really quite good. However, the West Brom defence seems to be also doing pretty much the same thing. Not quite as good as Oxford. If you match the two defences, I'd prefer the Oxford side. But if you're going for the attack, I go for West Brom. But I only just go for them. So I'm going to go with, 2-0, 1-0, 3-1, 2-0. I'm going to go with Borough 1, Oxford 0. And we'll go on to our next games, which are on... one on Sunday, so we go Watford versus Luton on Sunday. Now Watford played Borough last time out, 1-1. They had about the same amount, almost exactly the same amount of chances from about 42% of play. So actually Watford, again, they're one of those teams that do quite a bit more with the ball when they've got it, a bit like Hull City, I suppose. And they're playing Luton Town, who, as we know, have been pretty dismal of late. Watford in 10th, Luton Town in 24th on 28 points. They have to win this one, really do have to. They've got to start getting some points on the board. Watford lose, draw, lose, win against Borough. And I would say this is a staunch win. This is one of those where Watford managed to get that goal from Sissoko on 40 minutes, and then that's it. Let's just try and board the back end up a little bit. Not too much. Let's not pull back to defence, but let's just keep pushing to that middle area of the pitch and try and just keep it at this rather than pulling it all the way back to defence, which seemed to work. Luton Town lose, draw, lose, draw. They're not getting anything like the results they wanted, or they can get. And if we take out the 3-2 away defeat to Oxford, 1-0 defeat, 1-1, 2-0 defeat, 1-0 defeat, 1-1. There's very few goals in these games, isn't there? There really is. I certainly don't think there's going to be a lot of goals in the Watford Luton game. What are you saying? 1-0, 2-0, 2-1, 2-2? No, I can't see that. I will go with one of you. I think that I'll go with the home advantage. It could go either way. It could go 1-0 in either direction. But I'm going to go Watford 1, Luton 0, and we'll move on to that really, really good Yorkshire derby. So let's have a look at this. Monday night is Sheffield United versus Leeds United. Sheffield United leaving it quite late against Luton, 79 minutes. They were, from what I could see, about even. In fact, Luton Town, because I was doing this on a watch along, Luton Town actually started the better team. They had the best of the first half, Luton Town, and they started the second half the better team as well. In fact, it wasn't really until sort of 50, 60 minutes when Sheffield United suddenly started to play well. So this is another thing to think about when you think about the Luton Town scores. They have been playing well in bits. In that case, they played well for about 2/3 of the game, and still came out losing 1-0 to Sheffield United. So Sheffield United win, lose, win, 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 win. Leeds United draw, win, win, lose, win, win. But we've got to remember that the defeat was against Millwall in the FA Cup. And I think I heard somewhere the boss saying, look, we don't want to injure any of our players. We need to get into we're concentrating on getting to the Premier League. We're not going to win the FA Cup. Let's just make sure we get up and we get up in an automatic promotion place. That's our main thing. And Sheffield United did the same thing when they went out in the third round. He immediately turned over, I'm not playing my best players. We want to try and get that second slot. So that's what both teams, I think, have done there. But that just means that these two teams are absolutely amazing. But Sheffield United, like I said last time out, didn't get into gear until about the 60th minute, 50th, 60th minute. And I'm just a little bit worried that that's how they're going to do again against a really solid Leeds team who really don't let many goals in, do they? 7-0 against Cardiff, and they can definitely score. I think that we're going to see an interesting game. Sheffield United, what are you saying? 2-2, 1-1, 1-0 to Leeds, 1-1. I think that that some of those scores are pie in the sky. I think it's going to be Sheffield United 0, Leeds United 2, and we will end our scores there. It's John Essex Sports Channel. Please like and subscribe. Please do like. Please do subscribe. Remember to click the like. It really does help the channel. And we shall see you again with another predictions video. Thank you very much. John Essex Sports Channel. Like and subscribe.